everyone, welcome to Fit Kitchen. My name is Mel Ellis, and I believe that fitness starts in the kitchen. So today I'm going to show you how to make a healthy, cost-effective meal for under $20. We're going to start with the rack of lamb. That's going to be encrusted with thyme, rosemary, and garlic. It'll also be served with asparagus and a baked sweet potato. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is wash your hands during this pandemic. This is something that we've really focused on, washing your hands. So in the kitchen, wash your hands first. Get them nice and lathered for 30 seconds. If you touch meat, wash your hands afterwards. Always wash your hands after you touch any meat to avoid cross-contamination. Okay, we're gonna start with the oil. So with the oil, 2 tablespoons. Measure that. We're gonna do 1 teaspoon of garlic. Make sure that it's level. One teaspoon of parsley flakes. 1 teaspoon of rosemary. And with these ingredients, you can use fresh or dry ingredients depending on availability. For the salt and pepper, we're gonna use 1/4 teaspoon. The next we have to add is thyme. I do have fresh thyme, so I'll have to chop this up really finely and then we'll add that in there. Okay, now that that's chopped finely, we're gonna add 1/4 teaspoon. No more, no less. Mix that up with our spatula. Then we're gonna pour that right on top of the rack of lamb. Make sure you use all of your mixture. Don't be afraid to use your hands and get both sides. I'm gonna let this marinate for an hour to 24 hours. After your lamb has marinated for an hour to up to 24 hours and you're ready to start cooking, you want to preheat your oven. So we're gonna set that to bake and we're gonna set it to 400 degrees. And press start. I wash my vegetables with this fruit and vegetable wash simply because you never know how many hands touch your fruit and vegetables before they get home. You can prevent cross-contamination. So over here to the side, I've lined 2 baking sheets with aluminum foil. As you know, we're making everything in the oven, so it's really easy and convenient. With the asparagus, we've already washed these. We're gonna dry these with paper towels because they're still wet. We want as least amount of water retention as possible. With the potatoes, we wanna do the same thing. We wanna dry those off till they're completely dry. Asparagus on 1 baking sheet so we can focus on one thing at a time. They're completely dry because we are going to coat these with oil, and oil and water do not mix, right? We're gonna stab the potatoes with a fork. Watch out for your fingers. And this is so that the potato will cook thoroughly inside and out. I've poured a tablespoon of oil. We're gonna coat your sweet potatoes with that. You don't even need a paper towel. You could just rub it in there like this. After you're done with that, you'll take some salt, use a teaspoon of salt, and coat the outside of your sweet potatoes. Okay, now I'm taking the asparagus back off the baking sheet, ready to mess with those. So we're gonna cut off the ends of your asparagus. Line those up, grab them, and cut off the end. Keep doing that until you finish. We're gonna use a teaspoon of olive oil for our asparagus. I season my asparagus after it's finished cooking. Toss it lightly. Okay, it's been marinating for an hour to up to 24 hours. We're going to take it out of that resealable container and place it into a pan that I've already lined with aluminum foil. I choose aluminum foil simply because it's easy to clean up after it's done cooking. We're gonna cook our sweet potatoes and rack of lamb at the same time. Asparagus cooks quicker, it cooks in 6 minutes, so we're gonna put that in within the last 6 minutes. So we're gonna throw our rack of lamb in there in the center of your oven. And we're gonna place those sweet potatoes in there. We're gonna set our timer for 10 minutes and then we're gonna flip it over. Timer is going off. So what we're gonna do is, with tongs, we're gonna flip your potatoes over first. And we're gonna take that rack of lamb, flip it over on the other side. We had it at 400 degrees so that we could get a nice sear. So now we're gonna turn this oven down to 350 degrees. And depending on the size of your rack of lamb, you'll either cook it for 10 to 20 minutes. Mine is almost a pound, so I'm going to cook it for an additional 20 minutes. All right, now we're gonna add the asparagus since it's hit the 6 minute mark. Shut that timer off. We're gonna take the asparagus out of the oven first. You want to check the sweet potatoes to see if they're done. If you squeeze them and they're soft, that's how you know they're finished cooking. Your rack of lamb, you want an internal temperature of anywhere from 145 degrees to 160. Mine doesn't appear that it's done cooking, so I'm going to cook it for an additional 5 minutes. Use a teaspoon of salt. So that timer is going off. I'm going to take out the rack of lamb. Let that rest. Checking on the sweet potatoes again. Yes, they're almost done. Turn up the oven just a little bit to expedite. We're going to let our rack of lamb rest for 5 minutes. So don't cut it. It's gonna be too hot to cut. The important part in letting meat rest is that it's going to hold all that juice within and continue to cook. The potatoes are done, so we're going to take them out. So I've cut your sweet potato in half. This is the appropriate serving size for asparagus spears. We have 6 right here. Next, we are going to cut the rack of lamb. So when you cut it, you'll cut in the middle of the bones, right in between here. And you'll cut all the way down. See how easy that is? We did it, guys. We made lamb. All right, now that it is cut, you'll portion it just like that. And here you've made a rosemary, garlic, thyme encrusted lamb. You made it with asparagus spears and a sweet potato. All together, this is gonna be 23 grams of protein. This is gonna be 13 grams of carb, and it's gonna be 604 calories. So I'm really proud of you. We did this together. Congratulations. Remember that fitness starts in the kitchen, and you did it today. All right, so I have my wife Taylor in here taste testing the food. We're gonna see how good it is.
Oh my God. I ain't even got it. Like, it's so juicy.
It's delicious.
It's perfect.
Yay!